Hey everyone, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I've recently noticed a decline in the player base, including some of my old friends, and even I'm a culprit of this. I stopped playing as much during university, but now that I'm out of university and I have some time after my day job, I figured why not give you guys a bit of a guide. It could inspire some old map makers to come back, new players just that play a lot but don't map make, they can start to map make. I figured that would reinvigorate the player base a bit, hopefully. So yeah, let's get into it. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna do this all in one take. I don't care. I've never edited a video before or anything. So the first tip I have is danger levels. So what do I mean by danger levels? When you're making a map, you don't want to have too much breathing room for the players. You want to have enough space for them to get knocked off the map, obviously, and vice versa. You don't want uh, there to be not enough space. So let's say we make a map like this. If I remove this, let's say I add some platforms like so. Add another one right here, and then let's make it symmetrical. Let's put one here. So if this were to be an arrows map, you would have very, very short rounds, and the arrows wouldn't really matter too much, I think. So yeah, let's say I've got another player here. Any attack that I make towards the center here is likely going to knock them down, and that's not very interactive for that player. And if I'm to load an arrow, I can't even move in the air while I'm doing so. So it would be very difficult for me to stay in the air. And speaking of danger levels, I feel like this map actually wouldn't be too bad, but I think it would only work for maybe 2 players. And yeah, so on the contrary, if I were to add a bunch of platforms down here like so, and let's duplicate this. Yeah, let's add a little gap down here so it's actually possible to die. If I were to make the map like this, the rounds would take forever. So you see, I go down here, I'm attacking, and it's just impossible. You gain an advantage by hitting your opponent near the edge, and they just recover by going to this platform, right? So that's what I mean by danger levels. And I actually have a pretty bad example of danger levels. If we go to my old map, Warzone 4, some of you may remember this from about 5 years ago. A problem with this map, and the reason why I didn't like that Chaz added it in quick play, is that it's really, really easy to survive. Like, if I were to be fighting in the center here, it would take already a long time for me to knock my opponent down to this section and onwards past the bottom platform. But once I do so, all they have to do is just recover by shooting the buttons here. I thought I was innovating in a great manner when I added this button stuff. And it was a great mechanism that I added, but the map design itself is lacking in danger levels. So the next tip here is color code your bounciness. And this is one of my main pet peeves. So whenever I see another person's map, it sometimes irks me if I see this. Um, Let me just give you an example here. So maps usually use either 0.8 bounciness, which is a bouncy platform, or they use a -1 bounciness, which is a flat platform. And a lot of you who are competent in arrows are very familiar with what I'm talking about. And let's say I have these two platforms here with the exact same color. Let's just not do that. So here we have the standard bouncy platform. And here we have the flat platform. So a new player looking at this would have literally no idea which platform is which, because you can't tell. They're the same color. So you would assume that, oh, I started here and it's bouncy. This one must be bouncy. Oh, what a catastrophe. It's not. And now I'm dead because my opponent's about to attack me from the top left. And yeah. So what I like to do is I give my platforms a specific color for their bounciness. And one more thing is that if we duplicate this one here, never create a death platform that doesn't have the black color. So let's make a black platform here. So this one, let's make it death. This is what Bonk 1 OG players are very familiar with, and it's extended into the Bonk 2 community. So if we look at any old maps, let's look at the community picks here. Let's find an example. Balls to the Wall, for example, a very classic map. You look at the center and you just know that the ball, if you make contact with the ball, it's going to be death. So this is a very standard practice. I would never expect this platform here to kill me, right? So don't use black unless it's a death platform. Yeah, so it's that simple. Next is color contrast. This one's a really simple one. So what I like to do in my maps is I use low saturation backgrounds, and then I use higher saturation for the actual platforms. So yeah, it's just a color design. You don't want to do something like this. If I create a new map here, let's make a background. No physics. Let's make it huge. This is what I mean by saturation. So neon green is definitely a no for me. It's going to be impossible to really see where you're going when you're playing. Um, even if I add a contrasting platform here, it's just, yeah, I've got my glasses on and it still just hurts my eyes right now. So please take that into consideration. The next tip is no stalemates. So what I mean by that is if I duplicate this here, let's say there's two players on this map here. My opponent is on the bottom platform right now, just imagine. There's neither of us have incentive to leave this platform, because as soon as we do, the opponent's going to have their arrow aimed at us and we're just at a disadvantage. So I'm going to be staying here, aiming my arrow down, but I don't want to peek the wall here. And my opponent's going to do the same, just wait for me to peek. So this is a stalemate. Never have this in an arrow map. And last but not least, have at least one gimmick in your map. This is not really a mandatory thing. There's plenty of really good maps that don't have any gimmicks. But it's just that in this day and age, I think you really do need to have a gimmick to stand out, because I think most map ideas have really already been explored to their full potential. So as an example here, we can take my 24th Warzone. And in this map, my gimmick was that I have these friction walls here that force you to wait on them until the recovery platform shows up, which sometimes I know you guys, the luck isn't always on your side, but yeah, and it's a good recovery mechanic because you still have a chance to come back, but your opponents just have a clear advantage. And there's a lot of different counterplay you can do as the player who's stuck here. You can, deflect your opponent's arrow. You can dodge an arrow that's shot at you and stay on the wall, which I didn't do. But yeah, having a gimmick turns this map, which is very, very simple if you just look at the three rectangles here, into something that's more unique and that people might enjoy. So yeah, so that'll do for my map making tips. Like I said, I don't think you should take these at face value. They're just my opinion. So don't don't use these as ground rules if you're making a map. Just do whatever you want. I don't care. This is just what I do when I'm making maps. So now, I don't know if you guys noticed at the beginning of the presentation, but there's an announcement I want to do. And that's that we are going to be trying to revive my old map making competition. So some of you might remember this competition here. And I have the Discord in the link in the description if you guys want to join again. I'm going to be trying to run this again and see if, any new map makers, old map makers, current map makers want to try it out again. See how it goes. I don't know if there's going to be enough players. We'll just have to find out. So this is going to be my first competition in my attempt at this revival. So yeah, for this one, I'm gonna give you guys a very, very wide set of rules when you're making this map. All you have to follow is that, well, it's gonna be for the arrows mode because that just fits with this video. Up to 12 physics shapes, any physics shapes except for polygons. You can put them anywhere in the map as long as they're visible within the range of the map. 20 non-physics shapes for anyone that's into aesthetics. You can make a cool background. And yeah, you can make 2 maps. If you don't like your first one, you can try again and maybe you'll get inspired by the second. So I'm gonna have a deadline at some point. I'm just gonna see if there's players that are interested. I'll say like around, if there's 10 people, then maybe I'll announce a deadline, but for now, we'll see what happens. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And good luck if you are going to participate in this. And yeah, so thanks for watching my first ever video.